Welcome, everyone. We are here on this beautiful supermoon, also Guru Purnima. There's been so much attention lately around this term. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We've all heard that at one time or another. And there's great value to that. In encouraging compassion for what appears to be the human experience, which can include a wide range of experiences and emotions, and many emotions, many of which are extremely challenging and some even very painful to the entire human package. And it's valuable and useful and has its perfect place to not take so seriously some of the aspects of the human condition, which the person, the human, the identity as a person, as a body-mind complex, is always fallible. The person is always easily fallible. And that's where compassion comes in. Fallible meaning it can be led to error. It can make mistakes. Error in this case is not in behavior, but in the way we see ourselves and this apparent world. Projection. The problem with it is that now there's been way too much identification with being human. So there's over-identification, extreme attachment to the body, the entire conditioning and mind that goes along with the body. And it might be useful now to get a little bit more radical with it if we are to be in our true nature, reach our true nature, know our true essence and being our true position, to know God as self. When I say self with a capital S, which is synonymous and one with the infinite presence and infinite supreme consciousness, the infinite absolute God, the self, infinite love, all of the synonymous terms, the names we use to describe that which is indescribable, but can be felt by direct experience because it is who we are. So now it seems we must be a little bit more determined in knowing that we are a spiritual being, not having just this human experience, which is can be quite illusory, but we are a spiritual being, period. And to really let that into your heart, into your awareness. And while meditating, and maybe even just perhaps closing your eyes momentarily, and really feeling that, perhaps contemplating that, or maybe even repeating that silently within. I am a spiritual being. And that is all. Everyone is spirit, the infinite presence of God, of the self. And whether or not one leads a spiritual life is another thing. And that would mean keeping your awareness and attention on the fact that you are a divine being. You are the self. You are the very presence of this infinite absolute, the supreme conscious, the Paramatma, the Tao, God, the self. The self is a beautiful term, and by self I mean, again, with this capital S, because there is nothing outside of your true nature. There's nothing outside of the self as God I am, as God you are. There is nothing outside of that. There is no power outside of that. There is no reality really outside of that truth. So of course we want to go through the appearance of our life. I keep using the word appearance to really drive that seed in, that seed of truth, so that one may actually ask to see beyond all appearances and all illusion. There is nothing more greater to use one's life to reach that highest truth for self-realization, God realization. And going about our life being present with all of the human experience. There is that presence that moves through us that we may call Holy Spirit, Divine Spirit, God, the Self, the supreme consciousness we are, that is having this dream projection, this dream experience of this play, of this movie, and all that comes with it. But there are trappings involved in this over-identification, and this has been happening for such a long time and for so many apparent lifetimes. So we want to stay extremely anchored in the truth. Ask for that direct experience of your true nature, maybe like you've never had before. One word is, the direct experience is so beautiful because it is who you are. You can't, it's not any closer than your own breath. It's closer than your own breath. It's who you are. You can never be separate from it, except in the mind. Layers and layers of beliefs, false beliefs, thoughts, the mind, following the mind's thoughts and conditioning, and well, this is who I am. You're given a name at birth. I'm so and so. You're told this over and over again within this dream experience. So don't be so attached to being this human experience, because what is being observed here is that the human identity one thinks that they are becomes so dominant that it's taken over by ego consciousness, the idea of separation, duality, that you're separate from source, that you're separate from God, and there's unconscious guilt around that, unconscious shame around that, that's hidden and out of our awareness, out of the mind's awareness. But by planting that seed and allowing it to germinate and blossom by staying anchored and seeking that which is really your true nature. Asking for the direct experience of your true nature in the highest way you can possibly experience and know. And then when you close your eyes for a moment, you can know I am a spiritual being, and eventually just I am. I am, you could say, is God's name. I am the self I am, God I am, source I am, the infinite supreme consciousness I am, the infinite love of the divine I am. The body and all the 5 senses that go with it, all the elements, this I am not. So now we need to plant new seeds and have this new awareness. It's something you already know. It's something everyone knows because it's your very own true core. But these seeds need to be planted now and really nurtured and grown. And eventually, with repetition, with really staying anchored in what you are, one can be more detached from being so-called human. And compassion, love, sensitivity, and right thoughts, right movement, right action will come automatically by being so surrendered to that divine that you are. And it's not outside of you. Oneness is really only one. God, the living one. There is no second. When closing your eyes, feeling that luminous self that you are, the infinite awareness and self you are, that is timeless, that is eternal. It doesn't come and go. There is an unchanging core essence you are that is not moved. It is immovable. It is not affected by anything that appears to be in the human experience. Find that position and stay there. And then the so-called human experience becomes much more enjoyable. There's less fear and eventually fearlessness. A quiet joy, bliss, peace, always guided to the right thing, right movement. But inside the awareness and consciousness, you are immovable. You don't come and go. You don't change. You're eternal and forever. Your existence and who you are is forever. And there's too much sadness and trauma and suffering that goes with the so-called human experience because the ego consciousness will use the body and its mind and the thoughts as its identity, and it's so illusory and so, I mean, we say it's temporary, which we all know, but it really is quite illusory. And it will lead you, it's so afraid, this illusory existence of the ego, which doesn't really exist, but it is so insidious and is afraid of its own annihilation. It's a very peculiar thing. So stay anchored in that which is your very truth, the truth of your being. Feed it, nurture it, love it, remind yourself of it. And to that, your entire mind will be subservient to that truth. And surrender and soften into the supreme divine being you are. There is no greater purpose for having a human life. Wishing you all the glory and joy and peace and blessings that are yours, and that grace that is constantly surrounding you and blessing you, especially when we choose to surrender and remember that truth, that which we are, not that which we are not. God bless and namaste, everyone.